Every day, millions of people over 60 wake up, sit down, and barely move for hours, especially in this age of cozy chairs, remote controls, and endless scrolling. If that sounds like you or someone you love, listen closely, because this quiet habit, sitting too much, isn't just boring, it's slowly damaging your body. If you're over 60 and you believe that resting more is a reward you've earned, I need you to hear this carefully, because the very chair you relax in every day may be silently stealing years from your life. This isn't fear-mongering, and it's not exaggeration, it's the uncomfortable truth about what prolonged sitting does to an aging body. Sitting feels harmless, it feels peaceful, it feels deserved. But inside your body, something very different is happening. When you sit for long hours, your muscles, especially in your legs and hips, switch off. Blood circulation slows, oxygen delivery drops. Your metabolism, which is already slower with age, shifts into survival mode. And slowly, quietly, your body begins to forget how to function the way it once did. Think about this. Have you ever noticed how stiff you feel when you stand up after sitting for a long time? That stiffness isn't normal aging. It's your muscles and joints begging for movement. Over time, this stiffness turns into weakness. Weakness turns into balance problems. Balance problems turn into falls, and falls after 60 can change a life in seconds. I once met a retired school teacher who proudly told me, "I finally rest all day now, no rushing, no stress." 6 months later, he struggled to walk across a room without holding furniture. His heart was weaker, his legs had lost strength, and his confidence had vanished. Nothing dramatic caused it, no accident, no illness, just sitting, day after day. Here's the part most people don't realize. Sitting too much doesn't just affect your muscles, it affects your heart. When you don't move, your heart doesn't get the message to work efficiently. Blood vessels stiffen. Blood sugar regulation worsens. That's why long sitting hours are linked to higher risks of heart disease, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. And no, doing one short walk in the morning doesn't cancel out sitting for the next 10 hours. Your body responds to frequency, not intention. Movement needs to be regular, gentle, and repeated. Think of the body like an old engine. If you leave it unused, it doesn't preserve itself, it rusts. Now let me surprise you. Many people believe exercise has to be intense to matter. That belief alone keeps thousands of older adults stuck in chairs. But the truth is simpler and kinder. Standing up every 30 minutes, walking while talking on the phone, stretching your arms and legs while watching television. These tiny acts tell your nervous system, I'm still alive, I still move, I still matter. I've seen people reverse years of stiffness simply by breaking the sitting habit, not by joining gyms, not by lifting heavy weights, but by respecting movement as medicine. Our ancestors didn't exercise, they lived in motion, and their bodies aged with strength, not fragility. When you sit all day, your body believes life has slowed down. When you move regularly, your body believes it must stay capable. That belief shapes your future more than genetics ever will. So if you're over 60 and most of your day happens in a chair, hear this as a warning wrapped in hope. You don't need to move more tomorrow, you need to move more today. Because every hour you choose motion over stillness, you're not just adding movement to your day, you're adding life to your years. If you're over 60 and you believe that food is just about taste or tradition now, this might be the most important message you hear today, because the meals you eat every single day are either quietly repairing your body or slowly breaking it down without pain, without warning, and without mercy. Most people don't fall sick suddenly. They drift there, and one of the fastest ways the body drifts into weakness after 60 is through small, repeated food habits that feel harmless but act like slow poison over time. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The body you have now does not process food the way it did at 30 or 40. Digestion slows, insulin sensitivity drops, inflammation rises more easily, yet many people continue eating as if their body never aged. Excess salt stiffens blood vessels and raises blood pressure. Excess sugar quietly damages nerves, eyes, and kidneys. Refined carbohydrates spike blood sugar and then crash energy, leaving fatigue, cravings, and brain fog. And processed foods, those easy packaged quick meals, create inflammation that accelerates aging from the inside out. I once spoke to a man who said, "I don't eat much, so it's fine." But what he ate was white bread, sweet tea, fried snacks, and packaged meals. Quantity wasn't the problem, quality was. His joints ached, his energy vanished by noon, and his doctor couldn't understand why his blood markers kept worsening. Food doesn't just fill the stomach, it programs the body. Every bite sends instructions to your cells. After 60, those instructions matter more than ever. Think about how common this is. Someone skips proper meals, then snacks on biscuits, or drinks sweet tea multiple times a day because it's just tea, or relies on salty foods because taste buds aren't as sharp anymore. These habits feel normal, but over years they burden the liver, strain the pancreas, and harden the arteries. And the tragedy is this: people often blame aging for symptoms that are actually nutritional damage: weakness, poor healing, dizziness, memory issues, and constant tiredness. Let me make this simple. Your body after 60 needs nutrients, not just calories. It needs protein to preserve muscle, fiber to protect the gut and heart, healthy fats to support the brain, minerals and vitamins to keep nerves and bones strong. When the diet is dominated by sugar and salt, the body becomes inflamed and fragile. That's why two people of the same age can look and feel completely different. One vibrant and steady, the other exhausted and dependent. The difference is often what's on their plate. And here's the hopeful part: improvement begins faster than you think. Replace processed snacks with fruits or nuts. Choose whole grains instead of refined ones. Add vegetables even if you don't love them yet. Your body will. Drink water instead of sweetened drinks. These aren't restrictions, they're upgrades. Food is not your enemy, it's your strongest ally when chosen wisely. I've seen people lower blood sugar, reduce blood pressure, and regain energy simply by respecting what their aging body truly needs. No extreme diets, no starvation, just awareness. Aging is unavoidable, but deterioration is not automatic. What you eat today becomes the strength or weakness you feel tomorrow. So if you're over 60 and still eating out of habit instead of intention, remember this: every meal is a quiet vote for how strong, clear, and independent your future will be. Choose carefully because your body is listening even when you're not. If you're over 60 and you rarely feel thirsty, don't feel relieved, feel alert, because the absence of thirst at this age is not a sign of good hydration. It's a warning sign that your body's alarm system is fading, and dehydration may already be silently damaging you every single day. Many older adults believe they drink enough water because they don't feel dry or because they drink tea, coffee, or soup, but the aging body doesn't send thirst signals the way it used to. By the time you feel thirsty, your body is already running low, and chronic mild dehydration doesn't announce itself loudly. It whispers through fatigue, joint pain, constipation, dizziness, poor concentration, and sudden drops in blood pressure. I once spoke with a woman who complained of constant weakness and brain fog. Her tests were mostly normal. When asked how much water she drank, she paused and said, "I drink when I remember." That pause explained everything. Water is not just a beverage, it's the medium through which life happens inside you. Your blood, your digestion, your joint lubrication, your temperature regulation, and even your brain function depend on adequate hydration. When water intake drops, blood thickens, circulation slows, and the heart has to work harder just to do basic tasks. After 60, this extra strain increases the risk of heart issues, kidney stress, and sudden drops in blood pressure that can lead to falls. Here's something surprising: many people limit water because they fear frequent urination. But reducing water actually irritates the bladder and concentrates waste, making the problem worse, not better. Dehydration also affects the brain more than people realize. Studies show that even mild dehydration can impair attention, memory, and mood. That's why some older adults feel confused, irritable, or mentally slow without any clear medical cause. It's not aging, it's water deprivation. Think of the body like a river system. When the water level drops, everything downstream suffers. Joints lose cushioning, leading to stiffness and pain. Digestion slows, causing constipation. Skin becomes dry and fragile. Medications become harder on the kidneys because there isn't enough fluid to process them safely. And the danger is compounded because many common medications increase fluid loss, making hydration even more critical. I once met a man who drank almost no plain water, only tea throughout the day. He believed that counted. But caffeine increases fluid loss, and his chronic dehydration led to repeated dizziness and a dangerous fall. Once he corrected his water intake, his energy improved, and his balance stabilized. The solution isn't extreme, it's intentional. Small, regular sips throughout the day, a glass of water upon waking, another before meals, another mid-afternoon. Water doesn't need motivation, it needs routine. Don't wait for thirst, don't rely on memory. Build hydration into your day like brushing your teeth. Because water doesn't just keep you alive, it keeps you functioning. If you're over 60 and you're not drinking water on purpose, your body is aging faster than it needs to. And the most powerful anti-aging habit you can start today doesn't come from a pill, a supplement, or a doctor's office. It comes from a simple glass of water taken seriously every single day. If you're over 60 and you've started accepting poor sleep, constant worry, or daily mental tension as just part of aging, this is where that belief needs to stop. Because disturbed sleep and unmanaged stress are not harmless inconveniences, they are silent accelerators of physical decline. Many people believe that as they age, sleeping less is normal. Waking up tired becomes routine. Falling asleep with the television on feels comforting. Lying awake with racing thoughts feels unavoidable. But the body does not age well without deep, restorative sleep, and it certainly doesn't heal under constant stress. Sleep is not rest, it is repair. During deep sleep, the brain clears waste, the immune system strengthens, muscles recover, and hormones rebalance. When sleep is shallow or broken night after night, the body never fully repairs itself. That's when inflammation rises, blood sugar, control worsens, memory weakens, and emotional resilience collapses. I once met a retired man who proudly said, "I only need 5 hours now." He wasn't functioning better. He was surviving on exhaustion. His blood pressure climbed, his mood shortened, and his focus faded. Sleep deprivation doesn't announce itself with pain, it announces itself through decline. Stress works the same way. Many older adults carry silent stress, financial worries, health fears, loneliness, unresolved grief, or a sense of lost purpose. The body does not distinguish emotional stress from physical danger. It releases cortisol either way. When cortisol stays elevated day after day, it weakens immunity, increases abdominal fat, raises blood pressure, and accelerates muscle loss. That's why chronic stress ages the body faster than time itself. You may notice it in people who always seem tense. They look older than their years. The nervous system was never designed to stay activated all the time. And yet many people over 60 live in a constant state of low-grade alertness, especially those who watch alarming news for hours or replay worries in their minds before sleep. This habit slowly burns out the brain and exhausts the body. Here's something most people don't realize. Poor sleep and stress feed each other. Stress makes sleep shallow. Poor sleep increases stress sensitivity. The cycle tightens, and the body pays the price. But this cycle can be broken, not with sleeping pills alone, and not by trying harder to relax, but by rebuilding a rhythm. Consistent sleep and wake times. A quiet, dark sleeping environment. Reducing screen exposure before bed. Gentle evening routines that signal safety to the nervous system. And during the day, moments of calm, walking, breathing slowly, talking with someone you trust. These aren't luxuries, they're biological necessities. I've seen people reverse years of fatigue simply by respecting sleep as medicine and stress management as survival. The brain needs predictability to feel safe, the body needs calm to repair. Aging doesn't demand less sleep, it demands better sleep. And peace of mind is not weakness, it's strength at the cellular level. So if you're over 60 and your nights are restless and your days are tense, understand this. Your body is not failing you. It's asking for care. Give it rest. Give it calm. Because every peaceful night you reclaim is a step away from decline and a step towards strength you didn't think was still possible. If you're over 60 and you believe muscle loss is an unavoidable part of aging, I need you to pause right here. Because that belief, more than age itself, is what quietly steals independence, mobility, and confidence from millions of older adults. Muscle doesn't disappear overnight. It fades slowly, politely, almost invisibly. One day climbing stairs feels harder. Carrying groceries feels heavier. Standing up from a chair requires effort. Most people shrug and say, "I'm just getting older." But what's really happening is something far more specific and far more dangerous. The muscles are no longer being given a reason to stay. After 60, the body naturally loses muscle mass faster than it did before. This process is called age-related muscle decline, and it accelerates when muscles aren't challenged. When people stop lifting, pushing, pulling, squatting, or even standing frequently, the body adapts by reducing muscle tissue. And the problem isn't just weakness, it's loss of protection. Muscles protect joints, stabilize balance, regulate blood sugar, and support posture. Without them, the body becomes fragile. I once met a woman in her early 70s who avoided lifting anything heavier than a handbag because she was afraid of injury. Ironically, that fear led her straight into injury. Her legs weakened, her balance deteriorated, and a minor stumble resulted in a serious fall. Weak muscles don't prevent injury, they invite it. Here's the truth most people never hear. Muscle is a longevity organ. It helps control blood sugar, reduces inflammation, and supports hormone balance. People with more muscle mass age more slowly and recover more quickly from illness. Yet many older adults stop strength-related movement entirely, believing it's unsafe or unnecessary. In reality, the opposite is true. Strength training after 60 doesn't mean heavy weights or extreme workouts. It means using resistance, your body weight, light weights, resistance bands, or even everyday tasks like rising from a chair without using your hands. These small acts send a powerful message to the nervous system: this body is still needed. And when the body feels needed, it responds by preserving strength. Think about this. Every time you use your muscles, you're rehearsing independence. Getting up from the floor, carrying a bag, catching yourself if you trip. These are not gym skills, they're life skills, and they depend on muscle. Without strength, people become cautious. With caution comes less movement. With less movement comes further weakness. It's a downward spiral that looks like aging but is actually disuse. I've seen people in their late 70s regain stability, confidence, and energy simply by reintroducing gentle strength work into their lives. Not perfection, not intensity, just consistency. 2 or 3 sessions a week. Slow, controlled movements, respect for the body's limits without surrendering to them. Muscle doesn't ask for youth, it asks for use. And the greatest tragedy of aging is not losing strength, it's believing you can't regain it. So if you're over 60 and you've stopped challenging your muscles, understand this clearly: strength is not about looking fit, it's about staying free. And every day you choose to use your muscles is a day you choose independence over decline, dignity over dependence, and capability over fear. If you're over 60 and you've slowly withdrawn from conversations, reduced social contact, or told yourself that loneliness is just how life becomes at this age, listen carefully, because this quiet mental habit may be aging your brain faster than any physical illness ever could. The human brain does not age in isolation. It ages in response to stimulation, connection, meaning, and emotional engagement. When those elements fade, the brain doesn't simply rest. It shrinks, slows, and weakens. Many people underestimate this because loneliness doesn't hurt like a broken bone. It doesn't bleed. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It settles in silently, disguised as routine. Fewer phone calls, fewer visitors, fewer reasons to speak, laugh, argue, or think deeply. And over time, the brain adapts to that silence by doing less. Cognitive decline, memory lapses, and emotional numbness often begin not with disease, but with disconnection. I once met a retired engineer who lived comfortably, ate well, and took his medications faithfully. Yet his memory declined rapidly. When asked about his daily life, he admitted he spoke to almost no one most days. No debates, no stories, no shared laughter. His mind had no resistance, no friction, no reason to stay sharp. The brain is like a muscle. It weakens when unused. Social interaction forces the brain to recall words, read emotions, regulate tone, respond, and adapt. Without it, mental agility fades. And here's what most people don't realize: isolation also affects the body. Chronic loneliness raises stress hormones, weakens immunity, disrupts sleep, and increases inflammation. That's why socially isolated individuals often experience faster physical decline, even when their medical reports look normal. Emotional health and physical health are not separate systems. They are one continuous loop. Another overlooked factor is purpose. After 60, many people unconsciously stop feeling needed. Careers end, children grow independent, daily responsibilities shrink. Without purpose, the mind drifts, motivation declines, days blur together. And when the brain senses that life lacks direction, it conserves energy by doing less curiosity, less memory formation, less engagement. This isn't laziness, it's biology responding to perceived irrelevance. But relevance can be rebuilt. Purpose doesn't require employment or grand achievements. It can come from mentoring, volunteering, learning something new, caring for others, or even committing to daily routines that matter. I've seen people in their 70s regain sharpness simply by teaching a skill, joining discussion groups, or learning a new language. The brain responds immediately to challenge and meaning. Even regular conversations, sharing opinions, telling stories, listening actively, act as mental nourishment. The tragedy is that many older adults believe mental decline is inevitable, so they stop fighting it before it begins. But neuroscience tells us otherwise. The brain remains adaptable far longer than we once believed. What it needs is engagement, attention, connection, challenge, and above all, belief that growth is still possible. When people feel seen, heard, and useful, their posture improves, their speech sharpens, and their energy returns. Aging does not demand shrinking your world. It demands enriching it differently. So if you're over 60 and your days have grown quiet, don't mistake silence for peace. Ask yourself instead, when was the last time my mind felt stretched, my voice felt needed, my presence felt important? Because the habit of mental withdrawal doesn't just steal joy, it steals years. And the most powerful anti-aging tool you have is not found in a pharmacy or a clinic. It's found in conversation, curiosity, connection, and the courage to stay mentally alive, right up until the very end.